Gents, focusing now on a massive game for Manchester United in the Champions League. They play against Copenhagen. This is must win, right, for United, Nick, after those two wild defeats to start group stage play in the Champions League. They haven't given themselves much room for manoeuvre here, have they? So what do you see against Copenhagen? And again, let's just say at the start, United should win, heavy favourites, but will they? Because there is some real problems for Erik ten Hag to sort out.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would expect this team to come good, and I've said so, and you've said so, much to Andy's chagrin, given his opinion on the matter, there are some alarming things going on here that I think if you do anything but win and win with a good performance, then there has to be a reckoning. And I hate when you do that, when you put it all on one result. But with all due respect to Copenhagen, this has to happen. And assuming Varane is ready to go, Casemiro has been under focus lately for his performances, but I wonder how often he's had bad performances when Varane's been out there as well. So for me, I expect them to both be there. And then I wonder very, very much if that's a litmus test, not just for them, because remember Amrabat was going to come in, right? And he was going to solidify their midfield, but he's playing some time at left back. Their top performing players, after Bruno Fernandes, it's been Dalot. And why am I blanking? Wan-Bissaka. Fullbacks have been key here. So they need a We're Manchester United game. And frankly, they think they should get it here. And if they don't, we should be asking bigger questions.
Yeah, I mean, Højlund's been a revelation in recent weeks, obviously. So that's been a huge bonus for Erik ten Hag. And I guess, Andy, the huge bonus was that before the international break, they got that big win somehow against Brentford late on with Scott McTominay come and stole the show and scored two crazy late goals. And that feels like it has to be the turning point for them in terms of their season and even for Erik ten Hag's tenure, right? I know there's a lot going on behind the scenes at the club. And most United fans, if you speak to them, they're not really blaming him for this. This is a mess that's been there for many, many years. He's trying to figure it out. And there's a lot of uncertainty at the club. But I do feel like some of the new signings, especially Andre Onana, has been nowhere near his usual levels and has taken him a lot longer to get used to the Premier League and I guess just a new team and new teammates around him. But to Nick's point, Varane, Luke Shaw, big defensive players have been missing. I'm not making excuses for United here, but last season they were pretty lucky with injuries for the most part, and they played a very settled team, and that hasn't been the case this year. So I'm just looking and trying to get your opinion on it because I feel like I already know what you're about to say. But United, the quality is there, 1 to 11, I think, still, if they can just kind of get some kind of momentum. And they have to get it here against Copenhagen if they want to advance in the Champions League, you have to say.
Yeah, if they turn in a truly great performance in this game, it'll be their first one of the season in either the Premier League or the Champions. We're 10 games in to the Premier League and Champions League for Manchester United, and we are still waiting for a full 90-minute performance from this team where they set out and they control the game and they look like from the opening minute, okay, they should win this one. We have not seen that from this team yet this season. They beat Wolves on the opening day, and they kind of got away with that one. Nottingham Forest was a close win. The wins that they've had recently, obviously the Brentford one was just absolutely chaotic. They beat Burnley 1-0. Okay, good. It's just there are a lot of injuries, and you can't deny that is an issue. But the amount of money that has been spent on this squad, the amount of players that have been brought in, the amount of time that Ten Hag has had now, you would expect, I think, even with all of those factors at play, to see some kind of progression, to see, okay, this is what the final product under this manager is going to look like. And I can't think back to a Manchester United manager, again, and I always come back to this point, since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013, that we had any idea this is what this manager is trying to make Manchester United look like, because we have not seen it. Nobody's been around long enough to make it come to fruition. Nobody has been able to implement any ideas. It's just a revolving door at manager, a revolving door on the field, and now it's a revolving door in the starting 11. Some due to injury, some due to suspension to Jadon Sancho, which that situation is still going on. It's just, Man, as always, there's a lot going on with Manchester United. But yeah, they should win this one pretty handily.
They should, but Nick, Copenhagen obviously were leading away at Galatasaray, got pinned back and got a draw in their opening group stage game, and then they were leading at home against Bayern Munich last time out, and then a couple of goals in the second half turned that, and Bayern beat them 2-1. So they're not pushovers, are they? I mean, they're a solid team. Haven't got any real superstars. There's a few names there that you might recognise. Al Yanusi out on the wing, Victor Claesson up top, but aside from that, it's just a solid, very difficult to break down team. And I feel like United, if they don't score early in this game, then this could be a very, very testing occasion for them at Old Trafford.
Joe, it could be. I would love for your narrative to be more realistic in my head. It's just not. This is not a team that is dominating in Denmark. I mean, there's a 9-0 cup tie against a lower league side. And I almost want to write off that Bayern result is Bayern probably going into Copenhagen and saying we're going to be fine, and maybe realizing that away games in the Champions League are tough. So listen, this is at Old Trafford. Who do we think Manchester United are? And if we believe in any reasonable way that there is any specter around playing Manchester United, then this game shouldn't be much of a game. But that's why we're talking about it, because there's a chance it will be a huge game. And then we go back to what it said at the beginning, big picture discussions.
Yeah, it's very true. And obviously, like we said, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at Man United right now, potential, sale of the club, investment, fan unrest, all the rest of it. So it'll be intriguing. Like I said, the atmosphere, if United do struggle and get off to a slow start against Copenhagen, they can make it very uncomfortable for Man United. Andy, I'm going for a Man United win, a narrow one, 2-1, something like that. What are you going for, mate?
They'll get a comfortable one in this one. It's like Nick says, I struggle to see how it doesn't look good for Manchester United in this one. They could even turn in a pretty poor performance, I think, and still get a comfortable final score win. So I'll go for a 3-1. But I do want to. I care so much more about the performance than the result in this one, because I feel like that's kind of a given against a team of Copenhagen standards. So if they don't come out and frankly dominate from the start, then we'll be having the same conversation, I guess, again in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, it's just a crisis is just around the corner for Man United, it seems, right now, every single week. Nick, what's your prediction, mate?
3-0.
3-0. All right, so wins across the ball for Manchester United. Let's see if they can do that against Copenhagen. Massive game in the Champions League. They have to do it. Erik ten Hag knows that, and this is a massive moment for them in their season. And maybe for him in the future, because I feel like the pressure's just going to keep stacking up if they can't get past Copenhagen here at home. Then no matter how they start performing again in the Premier League when players return from injury, not advancing out of this group in the Champions League is going to be a huge issue for United. So they have to kickstart the Champions League group stage campaign, and that starts this week at home against Copenhagen.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.